didn't fail this community by backtracking on their great ideas just because some people got loud, the game would be going in a way better direction. And I feel like the biggest failures of this community is the community itself, because most people don't truly love this game. They love the character that they play. Devs are hurting their own player base because you're making the game more unfun for the average player, because you're buffing players at a lower level, getting them into ranks that they're not supposed to be in. So now that since they've been playing with their brain turned off, because rank has been carrying them for no reason with overpowered characters and the teamwork where they're not supposed to be in triple support, now they're in ranks to where they have to use their brain. Now they're hard stuck and they can't play anymore. And now they're not enjoying your game and they're saying that the game sucks, because you're getting them there without them learning the proper materials and fundamentals that they need to learn in order to get better. You are fundamentally harming your player base. They're in ranks they're not supposed to be because they haven't learned the basics. That is an issue. For me, that is a legit issue. You have to go through the trials and tribulations. Joe, I'm stuck here, man. I don't think I deserve it. Yes, you do. You keep playing, and you're going to see increments of your abilities getting better. You keep playing, and you're going to see, oh, man, I learned this. My awareness got better. I lowered the amount of debts that I got in game. My situational awareness got better. My timing, my engagement. You start fundamentally growing. But we're not giving people the ability to fundamentally grow. This is what fighting games teach you, to grow. Because when you start hitting that wall and players start punishing everything that you're doing, you don't enjoy yourself because you have to learn the basics. But a lot of people, this game, they're queued up with other players that's better than them, and those other players that are taxiing players to ranks that they're not supposed to be in are just as worse as throwers. Because now when you're not online to play with them with their bad habits and their solo queue, they're in there with us. They deserve to be there because my friend plays here. You got carried here. And now we expect something from you.
That's funny.
We expect for you to hold your own, but you can't, because you haven't been forced to hold your own. You've had your hand held. And since you've had your hand held, you've been skating by through ranks. But now that we're dependent on you, you're argumentative. Because you're not argumentative because you're just disrespecting you and you gotta fight for yourself. No, you're argumentative because you don't understand what's going on. And you think that we're the problem because you've never been held to have an accountability. That's what's going on. That's what's going on with the player base. That's what's happening with rivals. I was out of town and I was sickened by what I was seeing. I was like, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm seeing what I'm seeing. That's what's happening with this player base. But it's not about helping the player base. It's not about teaching them how to be better. It's about how to finesse $40 out of your pocket so I can watch your stupid VOD review. Something that I could have just told you on stream. It's about how I can tell you about how insane this character is. From a thumbnail artist that's dropping 3D visuals for the same people in the community. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about who can get the video up first. That's what it's about. It's about who is going to keep regurgitating and saying the same thing in the community, because you know they're drones and all you need to do is say something about rivals and they're happy to hear a conversation. That's what it's about. Every single thing people call a nerf. You know what real nerfs are? Look at Destiny 2. A lot of things is just a change of your bread and butter. Yes, there's nerfs. Not dumb enough to say there aren't. But a lot of things are changes to your bread and butter in your playstyle and the way you engage. But people are so one-track minded on their engagement playstyle that they can't think that there's anything different out there. I'll be very honest when I say this. I don't think the Rivals player base appreciate how simple the devs have made this game. Feel me? Like, this game is not supposed to be this simple. They've dumbed this game down so that everybody can play it. That's just a fact. I know people don't like to hear it. That is a fact. They dumbed the game down so that people are able to play it, because this game is supposed to be such an insanely sweaty game on all levels, all rank, but they know most of you would walk away out of disappointment, being factual, John. Right? Here's the thing that comes to this, though. The devs have to stop doing what they're doing. Day one of the patch, the devs didn't like what they saw from the support players' performance and the feedback, so many support tweets going viral on Twitter. So they immediately came out and buffed support alts. Now, let me tell you something, and I'm going to be very blunt and honest right now, and I got to talk about the creators in a second. I got to be very blunt and honest. Most of the players that play this game, listen to me, I got to be harsh, because this community, they don't have no manners, and they don't understand how good they have it. Listen up. This game, most of the people in this community would not be able to play if they didn't have easy characters. So, which is why I'm always with, you need simple characters, because you need all walks of life people to be able to play. That's the fact, right? I am all about neutral because I come from the FGC. I come from fighting against neutral. All I care about is neutral. I preached about neutral for like 5 months straight. The neutral is essentially the most important thing in the game. Following up on neutral play, one thing that really ruins this game for me is the clutter. The clutter in this game, the visual clutter is so bad, and it's gotten 10 times worse, that I myself can't understand what the devs are even seeing, right? While looking at the clutter, you can't even show this game to a normal person because it looked like we're trapped in the hood with all the chaos going on. It's not clean at all. It's too much. They gotta clean it up. But to understand and to go on top of that with the visual clutter, we still are used to it as Rivals players because we're used to trauma over here. We're used to crazy things happening. But I'm going to be honest with you. You have to listen to this. One of the most important things I can say. You have to let the players learn to evolve and play the game, because you keep holding their hands and they're not getting better. The game is aging while the players are remaining the same skill level or worse with their understanding of the game. That is a serious problem to us as gamers. The whole point of me growing up and playing games from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is about growing and getting better. You should not be the same skill level that you was in December while it's freaking August and July. That is a problem. Now, if you don't play the game, fair. But if you're on the game and you're not improving, that is a problem. But the devs keep making it to where you finding a way out. You getting more escapes on your supports. There is supposed to be ways of cause and effect. You have to let your player base grow. The devs are just holding hands at this moment. You have to let your player base grow, because if you don't let them grow, the game is going to keep handicapping itself in order for you to find a way to play it. Now, you guys know how I am. I'm all about casual content, ranked content, and pro content, and I feel like they should be separated. Once you start affecting the overall content with nerfs, that is a problem. Casual content, which is PvE, which is going to be on skins, you letting people get all of that stuff through, that's one thing. The design concept of how you design a hero and they're looking, that's another thing. But when you start introducing playstyles to make people want to go sit in triple support, that is a problem to me. Let me tell you how bad the community is. Listen to this. We just got an insane amount of new playstyles for characters, and people still sit on triple support. Because it tells you that people are going to go where they feel best at. A lot of these players aren't a 1v1 demon. Most of them aren't good enough to play the game. They go to where they play safe at. The community, I'm going to tell y'all something very important for people to understand. I don't always say things that people want to hear. I say things that the community need to understand. The player base in here is subpar. I said that like a nigga that holds his pinky up when I drink water. The player base is subpar. This is one of the most underdeveloped gaming communities I've ever been a part of. It doesn't matter if you want to hear it or anything. It's just the truth. They don't understand, but they're filled with attitude. Healers in this game, I would say, listen, I'm going to take it a bit further. Rick, lock in. I would say it's about like 1 to 2% of good healers in this game. Y'all know how much I stand up for healers. Y'all going to hear the truth today. I said in a short, I said, you should push if you get a stagger and you don't sit on card. They said to me, you need to understand that it's an objective-based game. I need you to understand that you shouldn't speak when you're clearly stupid. They don't understand how this game works. But now we got a cause and effect because you also have dumb healers, but please, God, don't think I'm one-sided. Because the amount of stupid DPS that you have is insane in this game. And it's in every role. Every player in every role. They're just underdeveloped. These niggas are preemies. Premature gamers. I'm starting to think all of them started gaming in 2020. These are not the gamers I grew up with. The Rivals player base is so underdeveloped, and I'm going to go a bit further. Here's where we at. The devs are to blame. Because they won't even stand on their own merits to give a full season to let something play through. You have to let them at least try. They don't want to learn. They just want to download sexual mods. They don't want to learn. I guarantee you they're going to tell you about all the freaky mods, but they can't tell you about how to animation cancel or about how to do this or about how to time your attack. You now have cloak and dagger players. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all some truth because people got to really tell the community some truth. You have cloak and dagger players that will hear a Jeff ult now that will pop the Luna freeze rather than the fadeaway. The team get eaten and these niggas save themselves. Because most of the gamers in here aren't thinking while they're playing. They're not thinking while they're playing. They're not proactive gamers. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. This has been building up for a long time. I'm going to tell y'all some truth. Welcome to church today. Lock in with me. It's why most of the time when you play in a ranked match, have y'all ever been in a game where you get extremely passive teammates? They're passive. They don't like the W key. They don't like to move forward. They're very passive because these players don't have the confidence to W key forward. They're scared. The average player plays passive because they don't know what to do when they rush. They're afraid of damage. They don't know what to do. Most of the average players on your team only feel confident to move up when the button is shining gold. It is a fact. This game is supposed to be played at a way faster pace, but a lot of them are waiting for ultimates in order to move up. I'm going to go a bit further here, and I mean this with the most respect I can honestly say. I mean this as respectfully as I can. Please, I mean this as respectfully as I can when I say this. The biggest downfall of this game is the community and the devs for not standing and believing in their ideas. I don't think the devs are horrible. I think that they're so afraid to give us their thought process on what they believe, where they want to push this game, that they backtrack every single time. If we know you're extremely passive with the things that you put out, we are going to test and force your hand like bad children usually do. You give us an inch and we're going to take a mile. So once you put out, hey, this is what it's going to be, we complain till you give us what you want, even when it's not even bad. That is a problem for me. You have to let your vision shine. That throws me off. You have to let your vision shine. If something is fundamentally broken, I agree to address it, to fix it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something. Here's what's going on again. Y'all ready? Rivals is in the worst ranked state it's been in a long time. Why? The game is in a good position, but rank is in the worst position. Why? Because so many players are overwhelmed with ideas that they don't know what to do. This community is so linear that they can't think outside the box. You give them too many options, they get overloaded. Rank is a throw fest because they don't know what to do. And all of the players came back who was already bad, who are still making the rank worse. You can't clean it up. It's a sad spot that we're in. We need a rank overhaul. That is one of the most important things that you need right now is a rank overhaul. The point system, a reset, how points is distributed, everything you need right now is a rank overhaul. To go out of your way to buff support, let me tell you something. And I'm being very honest when I say this. It might sound a little harsh. I'm just being honest. Y'all know how I am. If this game was supposed to be played where it was supposed to be played, you would realize that most of the people in Grandmaster and Diamond would be gold players. Because this game is supposed to be played at neutral. Positioning, awareness. This game is supposed to have situational awareness. These people are supposed to grow. This game, if it was supposed to be played at neutral, most of these people were Gem and Diamond would be gold to platinum. Because they would have trouble, because most people are climbing who don't have positioning skills. Most people are climbing who don't have awareness. I've never seen a game where people are climbing with fundamental key tools that you need in order to climb. That is crazy. But you get away with bad habits because the devs reward you for bad habits. That's blowing my mind. I'm not understanding. It's like being in Tekken 8. Supreme, Tekken God Supreme, GODs. Exposed. They don't even know how to block. Because gamers nowadays like to be rewarded for less effort. You tell people that you need to go practice, well, practice is boring. What are you talking about? There was Rivals players talking about the Avatar game, saying that I don't want to sink all my time into practice, I want to go have fun. I said, do you know practice is essential for every game that you're playing? You need to practice every day. You can't just go out there and just do anything because you have to build what, chat? You have to build muscle memory. Reaction time. You have to have a mental set to where you're not thinking about the move that you need to do. It is now just a reaction. Because you're so comfortable. Listen, buffing support alt is quite frankly the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And let me tell you how dumb it is and why I lost respect for what the devs have done. P-Game. We worked hard to get the global alt nerf. Just for you to say, oh, maybe we're a little too harsh. Let's pull it away a little bit and see how they like it. You have to stop making people, you have to stop trying to force people to like your game and let them love what you give them. That's one thing you're going to learn the hard way. You have to stop trying to force people to play your game and enjoy your game and let them grow to love it. You have to do that. You have to give the tough love out there. Because as Dex is going to tell you right now, you're not doing anything wrong. We're not talking about the nerfs. Those are different things you got to answer for when you see God. We're talking about the patches that you just put out. You spent all these months working on this patch just for you to say, spent a lot of time on this, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this, and we were very proud, and we think you guys are going to enjoy it. Just to say by the next day, sorry, we weren't confident, you guys are right, here's what we really need. You gotta stop. And I'm going to go a bit further. The community is dumb because a lot of the creators in here are also stupid. And they get away with it amongst others. They don't like any challenging aspects of their normal way of thinking. They don't like any challenging aspects of their way of thinking. And most of the players in here are so dumb that they'll misquote the things that you even say. Have y'all ever responded to somebody in the comments trying to get them to understand? You said it as simply as you could, and they still couldn't comprehend what you just said. Because they don't have the capacity space up there to have seen the things that they've seen to actually make it better, to be able to apply what you're trying to tell them. You can't make somebody learn something that they've never seen before. That's what I be trying to tell people. You can't help somebody get better if they themselves don't believe that they can be better. Because their limitation is a fact to them. So when I look at the community, I look at a bunch of failures that don't deserve this game. And sometimes you gotta say it harsh. You gotta say it for what it is. That's why the biggest content in this community is a tier list.
How are you doing?
It's a tier list with no real breakdown. Here's why I'm putting such and such an F.
What's the deal?
Dude, stay. Dude, best in slot, no explanation needed. I mean, like, come on. There's so many uneducated players in here who are lacking education, but they're not getting it from nowhere. It's blowing my mind. And the more and more it goes on, I'm not mad. I am so disappointed and sick that it's still happening. Do you guys know why you have a heal bot? I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Do you guys know why heal bots exist? Heal bots exist because the average player that heal bots is a one-track mind person, and he doesn't know how to apply extra benefits. I'm going to tell you guys something else that you don't want to hear.
Lol, do you play
The
GTA
average
5?
healer in this game is a heal bot. But when you have an argument about healer, they'll tell you that they're a strategist.
Creators.
You are not a
Jenny
strategist
it's my
because
Discord
you
username,
do not
you
know
can
how
at
to
me.
do multi-layered things while you're in the match. A strategist performs multi-layered actions while in a match. You are just healing me. You do not know how to even defend yourself. When most healers get dove, let me tell you what happened. When the average healer get dove, this is why real healers get upset when they're compared to others. Because when the average healer get exposed, they walk backwards, or if they don't walk backwards, they immediately fall over because they don't know how to explain themselves. They don't know how to defend themselves. They don't know how to stall out for a few seconds before help comes. Now, the joke to that could be if help ever comes. But some DPS don't heal. I get it. I get it. It is very important that you understand the players in this community. And I think the players in this community are very lackluster. I think the content creators in this community are very lackluster. And this season really showed me a lot because there's a one-track mind of how everybody thinks everything works in this game. Like, we don't think that there's different variations for certain occasions. Everybody is forcing themselves to say, this is the number one thing that you should use. It's not. things for situation. You can make things work for anything. Nigga, creators don't even do their tier list anymore. They gotta get pros to help them. If you're not playing at that rank, why do you need a fucking pro to help you? Tier list that you're telling your audience. None of it make any sense to me. I don't understand. I'm very confused by the direction. Let me tell you guys this. We're coming up on year 2 of Marvel Rivals. The average player in year, whatever we at now, coming up on year 2, should not be at the skill level where they are. That's trapped. There's a lot of good players even trapped in gold. And you will say to me, well, if you're in gold, you'll get out. I'm not going to listen to you. Because you're paying $40 to $50 for a VOD review on common sense. You're paying coaches and streamers $40 to $50 on VOD review for no reason on common sense. I don't want to hear from you. There's so many people trapped in so many ranks because even when I've seen pro players go to certain ranks and still lose mad matches even when they restart because it's so hard to carry somebody who's mentally not there. They're walking corpse. You would have been better with having a bot on your team than some actual players. There's plenty of games, if the game would have gave you a bot, you would have did better with that bot than you did with a player on your team. There's some players that's not even good enough to be called a bot. I'm just being honest. I feel like we don't understand where we are. This community is just eating itself alive, and they're so sassy with it, too. You can't tell them nothing. You think a pro player can explain something to a casual that's in silver? I don't think y'all will really understand what I'm saying. You think a pro player can tell somebody in silver and gold how this game works? What? Yo, you're not supposed to do that. And who are you? Oh, I mean, I just won the biggest tournament of all time. I'm ranked number 1. And? You're right. Back up that combo. You're not winning. You gotta understand that ignorance beats teaching all day, every single day. And there's more ignorant people in this game than people that want to actually get better. And that, to me, is where the devs is going to have the hardest time to actually capitalize on a real fan base. You have situational people that love rivals. And in a situationship with most of its player base, simply because these players can't commit because they can't handle the up and down battles in this game. So they treat it as a situationship. Most people get frustrated. Yo, real, I deleted it. What? Yeah, I had a bad day today, man. Uninstalled it. Worse. For real? That's an average person in rivals. I'm very honest today. I'm not crashing out, cussing. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just being honest. I think the devs are failing the community while also giving the community the best thing that we've ever got. And 2 things can be true. But in Rivals, 2 things can't be true. Player, you either say what they like or they don't like you. Because we're dealing with grown children. We're dealing with people that don't have the mental capacity to be like, I hear your point. I see where you're coming from. It is very interesting to me. There's still so much to unpack in this update, and all these content creators are trying to force farm to tell you this is best. Until somebody come out with a playstyle like Punisher Shotgun, like they did, and the community was like, oh, community, oh, I didn't know Punisher Shotgun was good, but they all told you against it. Because every single one of them, they want the best thing. This has to be number 1. It's a community and I can't stand. And I'm stuck because I love the game. Most of us are. Most of us are here because we love the action, the dopamine that we get from it whenever you get that good match. But we hate the people. I hate I want to look you straight in the eyes when I say this. I'm going to be honest and look you straight in the eyes. I hate the people in this community. 99.9% of you. I hate the content creators too. 99.9% of you. But I can't go anywhere because I'm obsessed with this game and I love it so much. But whenever I get a good match, that dopamine keeps me coming back. And I feel like if a different community had this game, it would be so much better. I feel like if the devs didn't fail this community by backtracking on their great ideas just because some people got loud, the game would be going in a way better direction. And I feel like the biggest failures of this community is the community itself, because most people don't truly love this game. They love the character that they play. And that is a fact. And the devs are trying their best to force people to love this game by giving them and catering to them, giving them what they want, which is not a part of the plan on what's supposed to be the success level of this game. By buffing healer alt is one of the biggest, lamest things that I've seen that you guys have done when the main priority and the game plan was supposed to buff neutral. That is a problem for me. That is a problem for me. It is a universal problem for me to do something like that, and you should be called out because you are failing and you're giving people without correct inputs, without the mindset to actually understand what's going on, too much value. You're giving loud people an actual voice when they are a minority. And I say this 1,000 times. Let casual have casual content. Let ranked players and pro players dictate on patches. That is going to be the best thing. That has always been my mantra and my motto. I've never changed. I've never faltered. But when you cater to support gameplay because people don't want to adapt on how they're supposed to play with position, it's not just them hurting themselves. You're hurting them as a developer. Most people who play hero shooters cannot play fighting games. But most people that play fighting games can play a hero shooter. And most people that play fighting games have an adaptive playstyle mindset because we are raised to actually learn how to adapt. Most players that strictly play hero shooters do that is a fact. They cry out that everything is a nerf before they try it. That is a fact. Which is why when I say something, I'm like, test it. These things are not nerfs. You got to go over it. It is a nerf because it changes this. It doesn't change it. It's a completely different thing that is not intended to be used the same way. So it is what? A playstyle change. While something is a playstyle change, it is completely different. Why is it a playstyle change? Because you can go to rank, because these are now variations, but they call them team-ups. But we can't call them variations because it would blow most people's mind and it will make you overanalyze it. You don't have enough capacity for that. So we still call them team-ups, but it is a variation that many games have, and you can go out there and then actually switch up and change your variation on the spot. So if you're getting countered a certain way, you come back with a different variation. That's what they did. It is beautiful. I think it's actually beautiful. But people don't want to think because they just want to play one way. One way. This community is such a failure to me. This community is so sad to me. But they'll see it in the way that they see it. And everybody only sees their vision, which is why I can't lock in with most of the content creators. Because most of them, they see their vision. This isn't your vision. This is a community vision. But most of us can't come together. Because most people are worried about views and trying to grow. That's the simple truth. Most content creators in here don't want to agree with another content creator because most of them, they need their version of clout in order to try to grow. If we was to come together and actually talk about something and actually say that this is correct, it would be better for the community. But rank is so destroyed right now. So many things are happening. We're boosting bad players. I think, and I'm going to say this is very important. Very, very important. And I'm going to say this directly to the camera because this is one of the most important things I'm going to say. Right, as y'all can tell, I'm not even mad. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know what to call it. I'm just so disappointed. It's actually insane for what they did. And let me tell you why I'm upset. I only think things that are game breaking needs an emergency patch. Listen to me. Only things that are game breaking needs an emergency patch. Things that we need to adjust to does not need an emergency patch. Doesn't. It doesn't. You need to give us time to adapt. You can't just immediately go back on your word. You need to give us time to learn something, to try it. If it's not fundamentally groundbreaking, where it destroys the community, let us get better. We're gamers. Let me tell you. Let me say this, and I just need to chill because it annoyed me. We're not gamers no more. Gamers used to get in game, see a challenge, and want to overcome it. That's what gamers was. That's the gamers I remember. That's gamers. Now, any kind of fight back, pushback, they surrender. I don't know what I'm seeing anymore. Any type of pushback, adversity, challenge, they surrender, they break. These are not the same gamers that I grew up with. They cry and quit and surrender. That's all they know. Because guess what? Why do they feel like they need to do that? And why do they feel like they should do that? Because their feelings matter. That's what gaming has taught us. Gaming has taught us now that my feelings matter. And if I don't feel like I can win, then we can't win as a team. That's what it means. That's what it means. It's a loser mentality. And we don't call out losers no more because it's called bullying. But I'll never let it go. I'll never let it go because they need to hear it. I'll be the first one to put you down, your mother too. I'll remind you. It shouldn't be like this. Now, if that's your mindset, why are you in a competitive setting? That's what always blows my mind. Why are non-competitive people in competitive settings? That is so, it's so strange to me. Is this a rant video? No, I'm not even recording. I was just yapping. I was just mad. I don't understand why non-competitive people are in competitive settings. You're ruining it for people that are competitive and want to try. It's insane. And then they stress themselves out by saying, oh, it's too toxic. You guys take the game too serious. I wonder why. Oh, my alarm went off. I wonder why we take it so serious. Probably because you're in a mode called competitive. Probably because you're in a mode called competitive, which is why people are taking it serious. Who knows? Who knows? These people are losers. They'll say it's just a game so that they don't have to hold themselves accountable. Do you guys know how many people, since when I came from the FGC, I'll tell you one thing that you can always find a loser in the FGC. A loser in the FGC will be like, man, I was nigga trying for real. Because when people try, they get heartbroken. When people try and they don't succeed, they get heartbroken. They can't accept that reality that they are a failure. But real good players will be like, hey, bro, I had it. I can't beat you, bro. Wait. Is that plus? Is that combo plus? Hold on. Run that back. And you keep inching and getting closer to getting better. Oh, I got one. Hey, he bleeds. I got one. You don't see that over here. Let me tell you what blew my mind in Rivals. And I'm going to tell you guys this. The losers in FGC are the people that when they got 5% health left and you still got 100, they quit. They stand there for you to finish it. Me and actual real players, you see you got 5%, you say to yourself, oh my gosh, this be a crazy comeback. It's a difference, the mentality of players. Because you know how crazy that comeback is going to be. So now you try to play even harder. The lower my health, the more embarrassed you gonna feel when I come back. That's how it is. But they don't look at the game like that. And that's how I feel in Rivals, because Rivals gives you one of the biggest dopamines I've ever seen in my life. And that is double overtime. The clock at 0. You can't get off the point, else it's game over. Once you can't get off the point, it's game over. You know big moves are coming. You're calling out, yo, this move is coming. Everybody get ready. I need you to pop this when they do this. It is the biggest dopamine you can deal with. And once you get that dopamine, you forever search for it. But the players in Rivals make it incredibly hard to get because they don't like to go to double overtime. They give up once the other team gets to 3, or they don't feel like they want to continue when it's their time to push the cart. Because they don't like epic moments. And I find that to be very interesting because this is a comic book game all about comebacks and power-up stories. And a lot of these losers love all of these stories and these comeback stories and all of these super-powered stuff, but they themselves don't have the mentality to go out there and try to recreate these moments because they're actual losers looking for justification in the characters that they are playing. But people don't want to say it for what it is.
They actually.
That's exactly what it is. Like when I played Sparking Zero, and most of the Dragon Ball Z gamers are losers, and they suck at gaming. They will spam out everything for not getting close to do hand-to-hand, and say GG, or they'll immediately quit. They're not real people of the anime. They're not real people. These people, when I used to play the Naruto game, they used to cheat Ninja Storm. But they love Naruto. Naruto's all about a comeback story, build up from the bottom, adversity. All these anime games, all these comic books, it's all about build up. It's all about overcoming something, trials and tribulations. There's no trials and tribulations here. I'm starting to think that these people started watching in theater. You didn't read it. You didn't watch it as a kid. I find it hard to believe. X-Men Legends, Marvel Alliance, I find it hard to believe. Wolverine Origins, I find it very hard that when I see these comeback stories, Dragon Ball Z is an anime where people get wished back with a Dragon Ball. And the emotions be so touching, I'll still shed a tear when one of them died, like the universes do. Because I'm so locked in, I'm all about perseverance and pushing through. These people aren't the same anymore. It's like when I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, or when I go to Yu-Gi-Oh! And TCG. These aren't the same real nerds. These are the pocket protectors, well, quite actually. They're breaking down to every single decimal on how he's defeating you. These are not the same. These are new losers. These are pretend nerds. In this generation, they don't even read no more when you play Yu-Gi-Oh! What does that card do? I didn't know about that secret effect. Secret effect, it was in bold letters at the top. You called it a secret effect. It was the second line in the sentence. Secret effect. These gamers aren't the same, bro. I can tell you one thing that they got better at. They got better at being combative. They got better at not hearing your point. I remember when I used to not be good at a game, like I go to a different series, I went over to Monster Hunter. I didn't know what was going on. Oh, geez, they're teaching me Monster Hunter. Now I know I'm a tryhard in other games, I'm pro in other games, but I'm new here, so I'm a newbie. But guess what? I said I want to be cool, I want something with iframes, I need data. What am I playing? Longsword. Give me the longsword, bro. Let me learn the iframe. Oh, I can get through that. Boom, boom. Teach me the ways. You listen to people who are smarter than you. That's how life.
Move your hands.
And you ask questions. You just don't listen to somebody that is smarter than you. You listen, hear, you heed, apply, challenge, and then you go and ask questions still. Marvel Rivals is a community that I don't think I will ever understand, and I feel like this community is going to go down in history as just one of the dumbest, most embarrassing communities I've ever seen. Legit, that's how I feel. That is exactly how I feel with this community. It blows my mind. People, let me tell you where we are. We're almost at year 2. And people find it to be offensive. Ask them to switch. Why? It is part of the game. People find it offensive to ask them to change. People find it offensive when you ask them to peel. Because everybody who is playing Marvel Rivals is playing it at a single player game, and everybody else around them is an NPC. And you're supposed to follow up on everything that they're doing, because most of these people who play this game, I feel, and maybe Dragon and Chuck, but I feel have never played most team-based games before a day in their lives. Because most of the people that play this game don't know how to be a teammate. And that is one of the things that blow my mind, is that they don't know how to be a teammate. And the fact that they don't know how to be a teammate is why this game is unbearable, is because you can't count on them. You can't count on the people that's in your team when you queue up solo queue. It's the luck of a draw. They're not going to be selfless and want to help you. They're not thinking about the betterment of the team. They're thinking about how to make their KD look better by the time they lose. They're already looking at it as a loss. They just want to make their KD better by the time they lose. There's some games too where you could be a good teammate and actually save the game, but they refuse to do it. It blows my mind. And I actually hate it. But I can't put the game down because it is such a freaking dopamine and it's so enjoyable. And I know most of us here have been wanting a game like this since Marvel Avengers. You've been wanting a game since like DC. You want DC to make a game like this. There's characters that you grew up on. And Rival's art looks so freaking good. To add on to it with their artwork.
No.
It's beautiful. If they can reach the universe, I'll be on that too. I just love games like this. But the people who play games like this don't love me. And that's what I feel. Holy gosh, man. That's actually crazy. Did you record that? I didn't. I should have recorded. I truly wasn't thinking about content just now. I was actually like, sad. I was depressed a little bit.
Go sit down.
Like, that was more like, not mad, I was more like venting. That was a venting session.
I love this.
Make it a highlight on Twitch. Turn it into a YouTube video.
What?
Oh, y'all think that'll be a video? Oh, yeah. I was more venting than anything else. That was just a venting. Gosh, you know. No edits, nigga. Put it on YouTube. Alright. That was basically you talk about the situation, bro. We need that. All right, all right. No, that was more of a vent session, man. That was passionate to me, bro. Like, just seeing how the community is, bro, it's just so weird, man. It is just so weird. It was just weird. No diss when I say this, okay? I mean, no diss when I say this. I'm just gonna be honest, okay? I don't know who the content creators are in the community that's going around calling different variants a nerf, and I quite frankly think it's stupid, right? So if you guys look at the new season, it's very important what you guys, if you guys look at this real quick, right? Something very important, just a food for thought. When you look at this and you see, perfect example of who I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to Mag, right? I'm going to show y'all something with Mag. When you look at Mag and you see Mag, you see like different abilities and different things that you can go to, right? The dev team made it very simple on how to make players understand what's going on here. They're calling it team up abilities. Okay, very important. I want to really talk about this. These aren't even team up abilities. They are variations. But you have to call it team up because it's simple for everybody to understand. Even though variation isn't too difficult, but that's what it is. These are variations, right? So when you have base Mag and you're using him with Wanda, team up, but you don't have Wanda there for full level 2 of it, what happens is you get the regular right click, his Mag cannon, right? You get the Mag cannon. So when you get the Mag cannon, you get the stun on top of it. And while you get the stun on top of the Mag cannon, you get a follow-up. It's just really good move. And you get the pushback, right? Very amazing move. When you get the Wanda team up, the Wanda team up changes it, right? The Wanda team up changes it. So when the Wanda team up changes it, you no longer get the pushback. It's not a nerf on Mag Cannon, nigga. It is a change of playstyle. You really learn and come in here to understand when I look at the hero shooter community. I see players that only know how to point and click, and when something isn't of their liking, they call it a nerf. These are variations. This isn't the first game that dropped variations. These are playstyles. So it's a playstyle that you want. Now, given if you don't like what Mag Cannon turns into with Wanda, you can swap. Or you just don't like that playstyle. But it's not even the same ability anymore. The ability, this right here, is completely changed to a completely different playstyle. You just don't like it. You just enjoy the one that completely had the Mag Cannon to where it's going to lock you. I don't know how they struggle so hard with this, but I understand why content creators get away with this being so bare bones in this community. Is because they're talking to idiots. It's idiots talking to idiots. Because when you look at it, if you pay attention to most games, there's plenty of games that have variations. And this ability, people will still forcibly say, Mag Cannon is nerfed here because it doesn't have the knockback. The properties is not even of the original Mag Cannon anymore when it goes here. It is a completely different move because it's a different variation. I don't get how niggas can't understand it. It is not a nerf.
Hey, Thor is annoying too. What are you talking about?
Other variation.
I'm sorry, Thor tackling me and knocking me a million miles away from where I want to be
The
at.
difference with people who play fighting games in a lot of different games is that they understand adaptability.
But I appreciate the compliment.
Certain things for different occasions of what they're going to use it for. But most of the time in the hero shooter, they're so brain rot on.
Is he crashing out because you're playing Penny?
You just favor the other playstyle over
Yeah, nah, I think he's just somebody that had problems with things. Like,
the community and the people that
I don't know, it's some characters I hate. I can't think of it at the top of my head right now.
If they just think that it's an all-out nerf.
Probably miss. No, it's a fantastic.
Adjustment.
I don't know.
And based on it, you select each variant for the situation that is needed at hand. You can. And this
His
is another magazine with
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is pretty annoying.
Okay, well, this time
Moon Knight.
situation that's
Moon Knight. Iron Man is annoying this season for some reason. I don't know why he's so hard to kill. He ain't never been this hard to kill. This season it's hard to kill Iron Man.
Situations that you need it for.
Even Ultron hard to kill this season.
Yes, but there's also situational ones that you need for the variation that you're going to be using. It blows my mind. And they're so simple-minded that every single time it's like, no, dude, it's a nerf, it's a nerf. I'm like, all right, bro, you got it. You got it. They don't understand that it's a combo route change. That's normal in so many games. You change your bread and butter. You may not like it, but it's a bread and butter change. It's a combo route change. It is a way for you to actually change up the kit and find it in unique situations on how to use it. You may like one better, but that's just it.
But yeah, I was lit when they gave Penny a shield. I keep forgetting to use it.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I'm like, Penny already hard. If I could get a shield to get away and do whatever, oh, that's nice.
Eagle Fiber is now officially
Now Penny like a shield tank.
from the air.
Yo, what up, homies? Look, man, as always, I appreciate you guys for clicking on the video.
Son, did you skip the video or was that the end?
Yo, what up, homies? Look, man, and as always, I appreciate you guys for clicking.
Nigga ain't getting away no hug.
No diss when I say this, okay? I mean, no diss when I say this. I'm just gonna be honest, okay? I don't know who the content creators are in the community that's going around calling different variants a nerf, and I quite frankly think it's stupid, right?
I guess so.
So if you guys look at the new season, I want to talk about something very...
Rosenberg had their worst moment ever on air earlier today. Now, it's been apparent these two dudes hate each other for a while now. They really can't hide how much they hate each other. It just comes off on the screen. But today, their worst moment came coincidentally because Peter Rosenberg dared question, critique, gave a slight to Rock Nation and Charlamagne the God.
I got
The one other
PTSD
thing though, while I saw the
hearing Penny
commentary
out.
moving around, that everyone was like, "Wow, Charlamagne made after that look stupid." Which
Oh,
I'm shocked based
if
on.
we talking about hearing something, Scarlet Witch.
But I will say,
Scarlet Witch gave me PTSD. Whatever
I
she.
really never knew up
Nah,
until the clip hit my algorithm
nah.
that he was
I gotta
legitimately
get
like
the fuck out of here. I hate her, bro, because, like,
Now,
if you play Penny well, that means you can hold the area. So she always, like, sneak up behind me and just hit me with her ult. Or Iron Man just sneak up behind me and hit me with his ult. Like, they literally just stand right above my head. Like, and once I hear it, I know I'm dead. It's always me they come up for, man.
But here's the thing. Even though Ebro and Rosenberg both hate Charlamagne the God, this conversation is still Rock Nation adjacent and somewhat about Rock Nation. So Ebro goes into his default talking points and his default defense stance and goes on the attack, even if it's at the casualty of his own friend and co-host who he's been doing a show with for damn near 2 decades.
I did not.
Got it. Well, look, this is what I will say.
I thought he wore the hat.
Being invited if you have money.
But now I got a
Being invited
seal,
to make an
so
investment
we about to
is something
see
that
how the
people are gonna
game
do.
go,
Doesn't mean
man.
that you're necessarily in with a particular person because you made an investment.
I mean, it's pretty in.
No, not true.
Listen, let me tell you, as someone who's never been in, it's in.
But you don't have money to invest.
That's
Like
not true. I mean, how do you know what Charlamagne invested?
Well, because I haven't seen you invest in anything.
This is a trick. Ebro is willing to self-sabotage and tear down the brand and the show he's been building for decades to protect Rock Nation. Think about it for a second. Rosenberg asked Ebro, bro, how do you know what Charlamagne got invested in? And his default response was, you've never invested in anything. That was that was the next thing out of his mouth when Rosenberg said, how do you know what Charlamagne got invested in when it came to Rock Nation? all Rosenberg's saying, hey, man, that's pretty bad. Like, Charlamagne the God can't really be objective about Rock Nation if he's investing with Rock Nation. Ebro goes on the defense, goes on the prowl. Now, here's the thing. Charlamagne the God obviously and clearly didn't give any money to Rock Nation. Ebro would be a fool if he thinks that. You think Rock Nation is calling up Charlamagne the God and Angela Rye like, hey, you donate, give us some money, invest into this casino that costs damn near $1 billion to put on. Give me $1 million, okay? And that will go towards the power that's needed to invest. Clearly not. Clearly that's not why they needed Charlamagne the God or Angela Rye or any of the other activists and media personalities that was on board. They clearly brought on Charlamagne the God and Angela Rye because of their voice. They needed people who was influential within the community to rally the community around this casino plans to influence the politicians to approve it. That's why Charlamagne the God was on board. And to me, that's an even better thing for Charlamagne the God. If Rock Nation is willing to give you a stake into $1 billion operation for absolutely free, just for you to lend your voice to them, of course you're going to do it. So Ebro is wrong in that regard of this is Charlamagne the God putting up his money and invested money that Rosenberg doesn't have. This is not about money. Rock Nation didn't need Charlamagne the God's money. Rock Nation didn't need Angela Rye's money. Charlamagne the God and Angela Rye don't have money that Rock Nation needs. This was a proposal with billionaires involved. Billionaires like was involved here. Charlamagne the God being one of like 5 or 6 partners. You think that Charlamagne the God gave a substantial amount that will go towards the casino? Clearly and obviously not. He was there strictly as a voice to rally the community. So Rosenberg to me is 100% in the right here, but Ebro goes into this like defense talking point, defense stance, whenever Rock Nation comes up, and he just lays it on Rosenberg, and eventually Rosenberg had enough and stuff to fight back.
So I don't know. But I'm just saying, Ebro, I have money to invest in. No one asked me to be a part of it. Well, then, because I'm not gonna roll over. They know I'm too much of a risk. I am seen as I believe a risk to be too close to people. Either that or they just, at least I can be grateful that why people think I have nothing to pop. But what I'm saying, don't say it's not nothing to be asked to be part of a group to invest. Of course that's something. Well, no. That's legitimately being done. No, it's being in business with people, yes, but it's not being on someone's payroll. It's not necessarily being like payroll is it's him trying to take shots. Yeah. But it is compromising. You are no longer an objective critic of. Yeah, definitely. And for that matter, right? It's a legitimate investment. If I make a legitimate investment in something, and I put my money up, and there's documents signed. I say what the fuck I want.
Hi.
What's going on?
Oh my God, bro! I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Angela Rye and Charlamagne the God has $0, zero invested in that casino. They lended their voice to the casino operation. They were given some type of compensation or equity because of their presence and ability to rally the community. It's simple as that. It's really that simple. That's like that's it. Can you stop pretending here, man? We know what this is, bro. You know what this is. And that's what makes it compromising. Because if your equity is dependent on your opinions and your voice on Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and that casino, then you probably can't be out here critiquing Jay-Z all crazy. You know why? You know what? Because the casino being approved is contingent on how the public views Jay-Z. Jay-Z's public approval rating. If they're relying on the people to put pressure on the politicians to get it done, then Jay-Z's approval rating has to be kind of up there, right? The negative PR against Jay-Z can't be effective and it can't work. So yeah, with a story about, Jay-Z coming out and sneaking Colin Kaepernick, Charlamagne the God kind of has to come on the radio and lie about Colin Kaepernick signing a non-disparagement agreement, even though Colin Kaepernick says he never signed it. Right? But things came out about how Jay-Z owes Nicki Minaj money after promising her equity in title and never given it to her, and making her turn down a deal from Apple to sign the title for equity, right? After selling the company for $300 million, the artist didn't get paid. Charlamagne the God had to come on air and run interference for that as well. So it can be compromising. It's somewhat compromising. It is. But again, people can't admit that because he's in bed with Rock Nation as well. And Rosenberg is trying to be partial and objective and fair here. And Ebro just begins to just ridicule Rosenberg, essentially calling him a bum who can't relate to anything Charlamagne and Rock Nation got going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my money. That's just the fuck I want.
Yo, it's crazy. You just threw out you don't have money to invest. That was wild. I didn't know. Like, you didn't have anything to invest in anything.
Well, because I haven't seen you invest in anything, so I didn't know if that's what you're doing with your money.
But that's still crazy to throw someone.
No, it's not.
You know, I mean, I know. I'm telling you, no one in that world. You're a cool guy club in the industry, bro. I've never been in it. You're a phone call. I'll be honest. Part of me wants to be, and part of me is like, I don't like that crap.
Well, then you got to make a decision. If you want to make investments with people making money, you got to make the relationship.
I think.
So, do you have money to invest or not? Because if you did, you would make a phone call and be like, "Yo, what are you guys working on?"
No, that's two separate things. There's having money to invest, and then there's either A, do I want to play those games with people, and am I good at playing those games with people? I don't think I'm particularly good. I don't think I'm. I do. I think I'm judgmental, and I can be like, I don't want to be a part of that crowd. You suck it up and hang around people you don't like to do these things. I don't think I can.
You already do it.
I already have to do it, but
You already do it. So what the fuck you talking?
Yeah, but I can't do it
You
more.
do it for work. You do it for hang out with wrestling. Do it to do sports. You do it all day anyway. What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know.
You're just talking.
Do I have to do more of it though?
If you want to make some money, it's fuck, man.
Yeah, but you have to do it always with people that you don't fuck with.
Who has the money?
Not always.
Find some people with money that you like.
But, you know.
I don't know.
Because how about this? That's why I said you don't have money to invest. Because you're not actively doing it.
But
That's not a slight. You wouldn't be having this convo with me if you had money to invest. You would have been making phone calls and you would have been hanging out with people.
Bro, you sound like a dick. Shut the fuck up.
No, you sound like a dick.
No, you don't.
No, you sound like an asshole.
Words you use.
No, you
You're
sound like
saying
an
I don't have
asshole.
money.
Because
Shut the fuck
no,
up.
you're a bitch. No, I'm not. You know, let me tell you why you're
What is going on?
like you is straight up out of line. I'm gonna put it this way. This is effectively the end of their relationship. It will never be the same again. And it's all because of them arguing over Rock Nation. But while I say the relationship is effectively over, it will never be the same again. Once two men, let alone two men in their 50s, call each other the B word publicly for everybody to see and hear, men with children, men with wives, men with families, men with sons, call one another the B word or the H word or the P word publicly for everybody to hear. Those are men who do not respect each other. Those are men who don't care for each other. Those are men who can't be friendly, bro. Rosenberg knows Ebro kids probably. Again, I'm not sure if Ebro even has kids, but Rosenberg knows Ebro kids. Ebro probably knows Rosenberg kids. You know I got kids that's watching this stuff. You know I got kids that's watching the internet. You know I got sons that can turn on this internet and see their father who they look at as a superhero. Now, Rosenberg is out of line. You going to call me a B? You going to look me in my eyes and say, "P, shut up."
Boys, I'm going in $100 on the U.S. Serious? Oh, yeah, $100. I'm going
to... Shut up. Now, I think Rosenberg did that because Rosenberg understands what this clip was going to do. He knows that Ebro calling him GOAT was going to make his way onto DJ Academics' desk, and Academics, who have notoriously called Rosenberg broke, who have used Rosenberg being broke as a way to discredit Rosenberg's voice, who've done live streams, hours of live streams calling Rosenberg broke, calling Rosenberg, has made fun of his career and his jobs. Rosenberg is sensitive about that because that's what Academics have used to critique him for years. He knows that once this clip would hit the internet, academics will be on that live stream going off on him about being broke and mocking him and ridiculing him. And that's a sensitive spot for him. Ebro knows that's a sensitive spot for Rosenberg, but Ebro has called Rosenberg broke before in other shows. Like, Ebro has implied that Rosenberg doesn't